Hey everybody, it's Kit here, and welcome back to another crochet vlog. We are on, I've already forgotten what the chapter. Let's see. Oh, I think it's 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, no. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, it's 12. Dang it. Oh, I'm brilliant, aren't I? Anyway, yeah, welcome back. Happy Tuesday. Hopefully I'm actually going to schedule this one to be uploaded, first thing in the morning. Instead of, not doing it and going and doing something else instead and then falling asleep at 3 in the morning because daylight saving sucks. And my sleep schedule is bad. Anywho, we are still working on that blanket as of this video. I just started adding the second massive skein that looks exactly like the first skein, which is just big and round like a wheel. It's a big wheel of yarn. And it's roughly up to my waist from my ankles. So that is that. And, I have to get it done by the, 10 days. 10 days from Monday the 13th. Okay. Oh gosh. Alright. Here's to hoping that it's big enough and I don't need to get another skein, 'cause that's gonna suck. But anyway. Previously on Lost in Time, Eli had a interesting day at Travelerverse. She got the opportunity, thanks to her dad, she got the opportunity to be chosen by a griffin to be bestowed a griffin egg if the mother chose. And Eli almost got eaten, so she thinks. They just scratched her up a little bit, scared her alive, right? Not a big deal. But she did get an egg, and it's gonna be a lot of work. It's already a lot of work. And then she went and she was taking care of some stuff at work, and, well, things about her grandfather popped up. Rosa had some questions, just like, when's he coming back? I was there when that man said that he would be, doing postcards and letters and whatnot, as much as he could. And Eli realized that one, she hasn't gotten anything, and two, he would have sent things to their old house, the burned house in California. Unless he was told, but she hadn't gotten anything. So it bugged her and bugged her and bugged her, and she went to check out the post office, their old post office, and there was just a huge bag of letters and postcards from basically every week for the last year. And just because they knew that she'd be coming back, you see, and they didn't have a forwarding address, nothing like that. So yeah, she was reading it, realized he's coming back in a week, and from his letters it does not appear that he knows that his son is dead and that their entire life got turned upside down. You might remember, you might not know, but basically how it was that the three of them, Grandpa, Dad, and Eli, they all lived in the same house because being a single dad's tough, so, might as well get some help. Alrighty, sorry about that, my dad walked in. Yeah, it's been like 20 minutes, so I don't really remember what I was saying. But basically, okay, yes. So, Carter was a single dad, and, so he asked his dad for help in raising a little itty-bitty human that, he didn't know how to do that. I mean, Carter was Michael's only kid, so, you know, it's not like they have a huge family. They don't, so, Dad, help. Sure thing, son. So they all lived in the same house, so on and so forth, yeah. But, yeah, basically, oh, gosh, yeah, Eli took all the letters back, and she went to go, like, oh, that's right, you know, she took all the letters back to her office, she read through them all, she found that out, and, a coworker of hers, Roger, who, basically, if her grandfather has a best friend, it's gonna be him, you know, he's basically seen her around since she's been in diapers and everything, so kind of like a second grandpa to her, and she basically just told him, and then she fell asleep after sobbing her eyes out in the office. So yeah, that was the end of that chapter. Anyway, so we are going to start off with Hidden Dilemmas, and we're going to have, I think it was just a short little bit of Roger's point of view. Yeah. So he doesn't know. He doesn't know. Eliana's words kept repeating in my head, even as I carefully set aside her many packages. Careful not to make too much noise so as to wake the distraught girl, all curled up in her desk chair. My heart squeezed in sympathy. Poor Eli. It seemed like only yesterday had she walked in here for the first time, beautiful blue and green eyes sparkling with the wonder of it all, toddling in after her dad and granddad. She had been amazed with my little magic tricks, I remembered fondly. Being able to touch an object and project the memories outwards like a movie, it had delighted her for hours. Her childish giggles rang through my head as I remembered her chasing after the flower petals in the air, dancing round and round. She had captured all of their hearts from day one, and she had only been 4 years old. Carter had brought her along to work every day since, and she had learned from all of them her alphabet, her numbers, her everything. Michael had always just sat there, leaning back in the chair, drinking his old pop, eyes always sparkling with pride at his granddaughter. Oh, if only he could see her now. He would still be proud, but she had grown so much. Now having to deal with so much more than Michael or Carter ever wished she would have to. Sighing heavily, I summoned the sleeping cot from my office, and it appeared, floating gently in the air. As it settled itself down, I reached around and gently picked up Eli, settling her into the clean sheets. She needed a rest tonight. She kept that letter tucked in. Sorry. I just hit the mic. I'm sorry. Okay. She kept that letter tucked dearly to her chest. She missed them both so much. She always tried to hide just how bad it was living with her mom and that family, but we all knew. If Carter could see her now... I sniffed, breaking that train of thought. It was Michael we had to worry about now. He doesn't know. Sighing heavily once more, I shut the door quietly behind me. I looked down the hall to my right where my office was, then slowly turned left, looking sadly at the two closed doors. The last two of the hall. Michael and Carter Bishop's offices. One would never be the same again. It left a bitter taste in my mouth. Taking out my mastery keys, I took my time unlocking Michael's office, feeling like I was invading. Flicking on the lights, I looked at the contents. A cozy futon with an end table with that dratted fake plant winking at me, all covered in dust. I smiled as I remembered our argument over it. It's a dust trap, Michael. Get an actual plant. It's better for the environment and air quality. Air quality? What are you, a housewife of Virginia? Fake plants can't die, Raj. I never seemed to win that argument, but it had been fun all the same. The walls were covered with pictures of the world and his travels, his army days, his son and granddaughter. Walking around the desk, I sat at his unused computer monitor, running my hand through the dust on his mahogany desk. There were 2 picture frames. One of him and his late wife, whose name I didn't know, and one of the 3 bishops together as a family. Smiles on the beach, fun and filled with laughter, frozen in time. Never to be the same way again. A tear ran down my face at the wrongness of that. Heavily sighing for a final time, I locked the office up again, leaving it the way it was. I took my time walking down to my office, intent on calling Simon and telling him the news. Michael Bishop didn't know his son was dead. We had 1 week to prepare, because you never knew what he would do if trifled with. Sunday, August 16th. So this is basically the day after. Yeah. We're back to Eli. Where do I put my cursor? Sorry. My eyelids felt glued shut. I ached everywhere and really didn't want to move. I was too warm, too comfortable, and too exhausted. But why? Groaning, I slowly stretched out a single arm and rubbed an eye, forcing it open. The first thing I saw was the letter bag, and the memories hit me like a wrecking ball. He doesn't know. Pops didn't know. And I would have to tell him. Suddenly, I felt like I wanted to fall asleep and never, ever wake up. Wimp, I chided, forcing myself with difficulty to get up and stretch. I didn't let go of the letter, not until I remembered the egg, my griffin egg. My responsibility. Oh, crapola. I dove to the floor, setting it gently on the ground and opening the case after a few minutes of stupid belts and latches. I breathed a sigh of relief as I ran my hands up and down the egg. I'm so sorry. Thank God you're still warm. I muttered to it or to myself. Did an egg count as a person? Either way, it was time to suck it up. I was a baby mama. Goodness, does that sound strange. And I had to act like it. I had to go back to my dorm and deal with, well, everything. I had homework, a mice farm to set up, an egg to keep warm, and a grandfather coming back to town on Saturday. No more pity parties. I wish. The next few minutes were spent briskly gathering and shipping my things back to my dorm room. I would have to either move the bed to the very corner or just flip the mattress on its side to make room for all this stuff. It might be a bit strange if someone were to walk in and see that I had mice and an egg in incubation, but I'd deal with it when it happened. Besides, no one went into my room. Finally, I could go and get on with my Sunday, doing homework, and try not to think about my grandfather. I sighed and left the office, wheeling the egg crate behind me. When I got to the dorm, everyone was milling about, just chilling and studying. I walked in, ignored everyone, and went to my room. I had a lot of unpacking and setting up to do. Dim was sitting in the kitchen as I wandered past, and I felt his eyes on me until I was safely in my room, staring at all of the bags of crap I bought yesterday. Time to whistle while I work. Does that work? I don't think it works. Does whistling while you work? I'm not sure. An hour later, I had just finished setting up the mice cage when someone frantically knocked on the door. Open up, Eli! Dim sounded panicked, so I hopped up and yanked the door open. What's wrong? He looked slightly deranged, and wordlessly he pulled me out of my room by my arm and steered me towards the kitchen, which looked ransacked and, well, empty. We are out of food, and he spun me around. Jeez, everyone was staring at me with pouty looks. Are hungry. So, what are you cooking? He finished with a slight smirk. By the way, as a current TikTok trend, dumb ways to die. That is a very dumb way to die. PSA from my channel for this week, for today. He finished with a slight smirk. I whirled around at him, glaring. I am cooking? No, I am not. Whining voices erupted behind me, and I groaned. But you cooked breakfast that one morning. Yeah, my toilet stinks. I don't have any more clean bras. I've been wearing the same underpants for 3 days. Enough, I shouted. waving my arms wildly, trying my hardest not to flip out. First of all, I am not your nanny or your mother. I am not the only one who can cook or clean. Second, I am not doing your laundry. None of it. We have a laundry room. Go do your own clothes, I yelled again, not appreciating the glares and sneers. Dim slowly backed away from me. But we don't even know how. Oh, God. No. Shh. Okay. But we don't even know how, Alaric spoke up, frowning at me. Oh, no, you don't, buddy. That puppy dog look don't work on me. Really? Because I know you are old enough to work a microwave and a vacuum. Silence greeted me. I continued, eyeing each and every single one of the kids, all of whom seemed to be angry. Look, just because I know how to do all of this doesn't mean I am going to be your mom's or your maid. Grow up. You wanted freedom? This is freedom. All of a sudden, you can do whatever you want. But that also means no one will be there to clean up your messes. Your mother won't be here to have pancakes ready. That toilet that was always magically clean when you needed it? Thank Mommy. Laundry? Mommy again. But guess what? I'm not her. I won't be her. I will teach you how to do all of this, but I am not doing it for you. I don't care if you don't study. I don't care if you don't show up to class. You may think there are no consequences. Take my word for it that there are. And my butt won't be on the line for them. You all are on your own here. As for shopping, make a list. One of us will be going out once a week. If it isn't on that list or a necessity, then it's not going to be bought. Understood? Sullen faces stared back at me. Madeline looked furious. Okay then, it's what? I looked at the oven clock. About 4:30? Yeah. So, what's your name again? Vivian and Charlotte, you two go around and get a grocery list going. Redhead twins back there, begin sweeping and vacuuming. If there is a toy on the floor, pick it up and stick it somewhere for the owner to collect and put away. Alaric and Jane, you two are on kitchen detail tonight, which means wiping it down. All of us need to pitch in. Before all of this, though, go and collect your laundry and hampers. We have about 4 or 5 washers and dryers. Tonight, you all get to learn how to do laundry! I cheered unenthusiastically, then whirled around and dragged Dim by the ear to my room, slamming the door shut behind me. As for you, if you think I'm just going to bend over backwards to accommodate, you're dead wrong. I hissed, seeing red. He gulped, rubbing his ear. Fine, but I know how to do laundry, he grumbled, looking at the floor. I brightened. Good. You can go make laundry charts so that they can learn quicker. Use Sharpie and maybe color some symbols in. Look it up. I opened my door and shoved him outside, slamming the door again. Huffing, I looked at the ceiling. Goodness, what did I do in a past life to deserve this? Someone rapped their knuckles on my door a few minutes later, effectively ending my pity party. Yes? I cracked my door open. Vivian and Charlotte looked back at me, anger clear in their eyes, and not all at me. Progress. Here's your freaking list. Vivian pushed it towards me, shoving Charlotte harshly on the shoulder as she stalked off. Sighing, I grabbed my purse, slinging it over my shoulder before easily catching up with her. Oh no, Vivi. You get to join me at the store since you want to and all. Sarcasm was my best friend. If looks could kill, then I would be tickled because her death glare needed some work. Oh my god. I slung my arm over her shoulder and I went grocery shopping with a spiteful 16-year-old. It was so much fun. Sarcasm. Monday couldn't come soon enough. I mean, Eli, you're 17. You just turned 17. It's not that big of a deal. Okay, so now it's Monday, August 17th. So much fun. I woke up early, about 6 a.m. like usual. I was almost getting worried. No more rifts had stolen me in the night. I almost missed it. I checked on the mice before getting in the shower and gave my egg a hug, patting its furry exterior fondly. I still had no idea what to name it. Him, her, I didn't know the ginger either. I eyed the thick stack of Griffin books on my nightstand. One of these days... Oh, excuse me. Had a little burp. I exited my room and was greeted with a few of the kids eating breakfast. Dim had made pancakes for just himself, it seemed, his blonde friend munching on eggs at the table. This is a nice sight, mainly because I didn't have to get them up. Maybe my lecture yesterday had taken root. Humming, I looked for the Lucky Charms I had stashed in the pantry last night. I needed that hit of sugary goodness. My herbology professor was horrible. Turns out she was the same person from the greenhouse. It was also unfortunate that she remembered me perfectly and deemed it her duty to make my life horrid for being a troublemaker. Just what? It was a very good thing I only had her Mondays and Wednesdays. In the time it took me to fix myself a bowl of cereal, eat it, then clean up my mess, the kitchen had gotten full, then emptied out as everyone ran off to their classes. I walked to herbology alone, just me and music. Not a bad way to spend Monday morning. I reached my class 5 minutes early and went to my station. We were doing... I couldn't even remember. Nope. I'm gonna go shut my door real quick. I don't know if you were gonna be able to hear that or not. Why am I humming Christmas? I don't even know it's March. Dang it. Okay. Okay. A drink. Okay. I couldn't even remember. Something about transplanting and trimming plants that had teeth. Which was why each station had thick gloves, trimming shears, and a first aid kit, both a human version and a plant version. There apparently was such a thing as band-aids for plants. I still couldn't decide if that was cute or creepy. Professor Paris waltzed in as the bell rang, the sunlight streaming into her kingdom, the greenhouse. In all its warm and muggy glory, smelling of horse manure and goodness knows what else. She immediately spotted me and curled her lip before starting to speak for the day, but I didn't hear what she said. My eyes were glued to her neck, where a big, hideous black and gold brooch was perched. And just like that, I was whisked away. I appeared as a viewer in someone else's memory. Cold and grey fog. Hello, British English. Again, did not miss you. There. Okay. Cold and grey fog sweeping across familiar grounds. The night sky bleak. Foreboding brick walls loomed in front of me, and I found myself standing beneath a bare tree, deep in its shadow. Two shadowed figures were dragging a third, their head lolling and feet limp, to a dark corner of the grounds, where the shadow would hide them well. Silently I followed them, wondering what I was meant to see. Was I still in herbology, staring straight ahead? Or was I here physically? I couldn't tell, not that it was important. The two men ruthlessly shoved the third against the wall, muttering harsh words at him. Blood was scattered all over his clothes, his nose grotesquely broken. He moaned a little too loudly, and one of the others punched him in the gut, causing him to cough up blood. I wanted to do something, but was bound by laws not to interfere. So I watched a man die as they beat him to a pulp, minutes later. The two remaining brutes congratulated themselves, the one with broad shoulders bending over to check the dead man's pockets for something. Whatever it was, he closed it tight within his fist and tensed suddenly to try and surprise swing at the scrawny one's face, a blow that was meant to knock out. A single, silent gunshot met him square between the eyes instead. Another one of the three dead. The winner coldly put the gun back into his expensive coat and retrieved the object from the hand of the other. I leaned forward, trying to see what it was. It was the brooch, the same one that had triggered this memory. The scrawny man cradled it to himself like it was the most precious thing in the world. Perhaps it was. Leaving the bodies? He whistled as he walked away into the dark, foreboding night. Miss Laveau! Miss Laveau! A voice shrieked in my ear, and I jerked, falling to the floor with a strangled yelp. A heavily disgruntled professor stood above me, hands on her broad hips in disdain. Perhaps next time you could pay attention to the class, Miss Laveau? Or am I too boring for you? I quickly shook my head no, rubbing my eyes in vain to get the murderers out of my head. Final warning, otherwise you shall have detention. Now move to Station A with the rest of the troublemakers. She sneered at me before stalking off to harp on someone else. No one helped me up, and I slowly walked to the station. There were 2 people there, the social outcasts. I guess I was one of them. Or now. Great. Sighing heavily, I stood at the closest empty spot, 4 places to a station, and wordlessly put the gloves on. That brooch was still haunting my mind. It was here, in this classroom. I needed to collect it, but wouldn't dare without further information. 2 people had already been killed for it. The question was why? The rest of the class was awkward and full of silence. The girl to my left, I learned, was named Claire, and she was kind of a witch. Again, with a B. The one time she talked to me was to request I pass the damn Band-Aids. Didn't even say thank you. She had the typical black nail polish and dark purple hair of someone either rebelling or of the goth fashion. It didn't help she was wearing all black and was super pale either. The guy on the right looked like a jock, average height, muscular, good-looking, but I didn't miss how he seemed to have bits of egg in his messy hair. He looked down and tried to disappear, but he was muscular and, well, not small. Something about him wasn't right. He didn't say a word the entire class period. When the bell rang, both he and Claire ran out of the class first, but they weren't friends. They didn't even look at each other. Weird. I took my time putting everything up and leaving. If this was how the rest of the semester was going to go in that class, it was going to be heck. Now, if only I could figure out how to get that brooch. Well then. A little bit of a shorter chapter, and I don't know if this is something. I knew I had this problem when I was, as I've gotten older and whatnot. Like, chapters are kind of all over the place in length. And that is something I want to get better at, change, so on and so forth. I don't know if A Witch's Debt has that problem. Kind of curious if it does or it doesn't. I've kind of been considering reading that. I don't know if I've mentioned it or not, but I'm kind of wanting to read that one next after this. But I guess it really just depends on reception, I suppose. Like, should I, shouldn't I don't know. Yeah. I don't know. I liked this chapter. I did. It was kind of nice seeing a little glimpse into, like, the dorm life and all of that. I think Eli putting her foot down was a good thing. Could she have been a lot nicer about it? Sure, but again, things will change in the rewrite, so that little niggling part of my brain is, like, completely silent. But it's going to have some of the same stuff. Like, they're going to have that issue moving and being free because they just don't know. And yeah, so Eli's under a lot of stress, and just it's not getting any better at all. So yeah, and now she has a brooch that at least 2 people died for, around her professor's neck, and her professor hates her, so that's gonna be fun. Yeah. Oh, and she's a griffin egg mama? That sounds so wrong. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this. I don't know. I don't even know what part this is. Like, how many of these have we done? Do I even number them? I don't know. I don't know. But that was officially chapter 12, so next time we will read Painful Confessions. Oh, and we're skipping to Saturday. Oh, that's gonna be great. Which means Eli's class is, Eli's pop is back to town next chapter, so this is gonna be great. Bring your tissues. But yeah. So I hope you enjoyed this, and yeah, I don't really have anything else to say, but I guess maybe just let me know if you're interested in another book reading. I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, happy Tuesday. Have a great day and a great week, and I will possibly see you guys later. Bye.